Overthinking is the silent thief of joy, robbing you of peace, clarity, and purpose. It traps you in an endless loop, reliving past mistakes, fearing an uncertain future, or obsessing over every decision. Each thought feels like a solution, yet it only deepens the chaos, leaving you drained, anxious, and mentally paralyzed. In a world that never slows down, where distractions are constant, uncertainty is overwhelming, and the pressure to control everything feels inescapable, overthinking has become a modern epidemic. The harder we try to analyze, predict, or perfect, the more tangled our minds become, amplifying our inner turmoil and leaving us stuck in a cycle of stress and self-doubt. But what if there's a way out? A way to quiet the mental storm and rediscover the peace you thought was lost. As Buddha once said, "You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger." Now replace anger with overthinking, and it's the same trap we all fall into. Buddhist philosophy offers a timeless remedy to this modern dilemma. By embracing its profound teachings on mindfulness, simplicity, and impermanence, you can finally break free from the grip of overthinking, regain emotional balance, and find true clarity in the present moment. In this video, I'll share 6 life-changing Buddhist teachings to help you escape the overthinking trap. At the end, there is a powerful bonus lesson, one that could transform not just your thoughts, but your entire approach to life. This is the key to the inner peace you've been searching for. Let's dive in. Lesson 1. Focus on the present moment. Overthinking often feels like being trapped in a storm of thoughts, each one pulling you in a different direction. But as the Buddha wisely said, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. These words hold a profound truth. Overthinking thrives when our minds are tethered to what has already happened or what might come. By learning to focus on the present, we can begin to calm the storm. Imagine crossing a wide, rushing river. If you fixate on the distant shore, the journey feels overwhelming. If you worry about the current beneath you, fear might paralyze you. But if you focus on the stone beneath your feet and the next step ahead, the task becomes manageable. Life works the same way. Overthinking takes hold when we allow ourselves to be consumed by regrets from yesterday or anxieties about tomorrow. The present moment, however, offers a refuge, a place where the mind can rest and find peace. Practicing mindfulness is one way to anchor yourself in the now. This doesn't require grand gestures or hours of meditation. Start small. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Notice the sensation of air entering your lungs and leaving your body. Feel the ground beneath your feet or the texture of objects around you. These simple acts of awareness draw you back to the present, breaking the grip of spiraling thoughts. When you focus on the present, you gain clarity. The noise of the past and future fades, leaving room for calm and intentional action. You realize that in this moment, you are safe. You are enough. As the storm subsides, peace takes its place. A peace rooted not in escaping life's challenges, but in confronting them with a clear and steady mind. Pause for a moment and think. What is one thought about the past or future that you can release right now? Let it go. Allow yourself to be here in this moment, fully present. Just like the river metaphor, the next step is always within reach if you remain focused on where you are. Over time, this practice becomes a habit, transforming overthinking into a sense of mindfulness and clarity, and in that clarity, true inner peace begins to bloom. 2. Let thoughts pass like clouds. The Buddha once taught that thoughts are like clouds. They drift into the mind, linger for a moment, and then pass away. Yet we often forget this truth, clinging to certain thoughts as if they define us, creating unnecessary suffering. Overthinkers, in particular, get caught in the storm of their own minds, treating every passing cloud as if it were permanent. But here's the secret. Thoughts, like clouds, are fleeting. They come, they go, and they only control us if we let them. Imagine sitting beside a calm river. Leaves float gently on the surface, carried by the current. You wouldn't dive into the water to chase a single leaf, nor would you try to stop the flow of the river entirely. Instead, you would watch the leaves drift by, acknowledging them without needing to hold on. This is how we should treat our thoughts. Observe them, let them pass, and resist the urge to grab hold of each one. When a worrisome thought arises, perhaps about a mistake you made or an uncertainty about the future, pause. Instead of wrestling with it or trying to suppress it, visualize it as a cloud in the sky. See it drift, changing shape and eventually disappearing over the horizon. This practice is not about ignoring your thoughts, but understanding that they are not you. They are merely passing phenomena, like the clouds or the leaves on the river. Clinging to thoughts gives them power. It's the act of over-identification, believing that every thought reflects reality, that traps us in cycles of overthinking. By learning to detach, you regain control over your mind. You recognize that just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it has to stay there or dictate your actions. This simple shift in perspective creates profound change. Detachment from thoughts frees your emotions from their grip, allowing you to experience life with more clarity and peace. You stop reacting impulsively to every fleeting worry or self-doubt, and instead respond with calmness and wisdom. Take a moment now and practice this. Close your eyes and picture one troubling thought as a cloud in the sky. Watch it drift, and as it moves away, notice how its weight begins to lift from your mind. The sky remains vast and untouched, just as your mind remains pure and open, regardless of passing thoughts. Over time, this practice strengthens your emotional resilience, helping you move through life with the peace and clarity you deserve. Let your thoughts float by, and allow yourself the freedom to simply be. 3. Release the need for control. The Buddha taught, suffering is not caused by events, but by our reaction to them. These words point to a powerful truth. Much of the anxiety we experience doesn't come from life's challenges themselves, but from our resistance to them. Overthinking, at its core, is often a desperate attempt to control the uncontrollable, a futile struggle against reality that leaves us exhausted and stressed. To find peace, we must release this need for control. Picture yourself pushing a massive boulder up a steep hill. Every ounce of your energy is spent fighting gravity, yet the higher you climb, the harder the struggle becomes. Now imagine pausing, letting the boulder roll away. What happens? The weight lifts, the path ahead becomes clearer, and you can move forward freely. This is what happens when you stop trying to control things beyond your power. You don't give up on life's challenges. Instead, you let go of the unnecessary burden of resistance. Life is filled with uncertainties, and the mind's natural response is to overthink, analyzing every possibility, trying to plan for every outcome. But no amount of mental effort can guarantee what tomorrow will bring. The rain will fall when it falls. The seasons will change when they're ready. Instead of clinging to the illusion of control, reflect on what truly lies within your grasp. You cannot change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails. When you embrace surrender, not as a sign of weakness, but as an act of wisdom, you free yourself from needless suffering. Begin by identifying one worry that has been occupying your mind. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Visualize the worry as a bird you're holding tightly in your hands. Open your palms and watch it fly away. This practice of letting go lightens your mental load, creating space for clarity and calm. By releasing the need for control, you discover an incredible truth. Uncertainty isn't something to fear. It's a natural part of life, a space where growth and possibility reside. Accepting this allows your mind to rest and your heart to find peace. You're no longer trapped in a cycle of what-ifs, but grounded in the freedom of the present moment. Pause and reflect. What is one situation in your life that you've been struggling to control? What would happen if you simply let it be? In this act of surrender, you'll find the serenity you've been seeking. As the Buddha reminds us, the path to freedom isn't in controlling life, it's in learning to flow with it. 4. Anchor yourself through mindfulness. The Buddha said, "When the mind is calm, the breath is calm." These simple words hold the key to unraveling the tangled knots of overthinking. A racing mind often feels like a storm, chaotic, overwhelming, and out of control. But in the midst of that storm, mindfulness serves as a lighthouse, steady and unshaken, guiding you back to safety. By anchoring yourself in the present moment, you can find clarity and calm, no matter how turbulent your thoughts may seem. Imagine you're on a small boat caught in a fierce storm at sea. The waves crash, the wind howls, and you're tossed in every direction. But in the distance, you see the beam of a lighthouse cutting through the darkness, showing you the way. That light is mindfulness, a practice that brings you back to solid ground when your mind feels lost in the chaos of overthinking. Start by focusing on your breath. It's always with you, a constant rhythm that connects you to the present moment. Inhale deeply through your nose, feeling your lungs expand. Hold the breath for a moment, noticing the stillness. Then exhale slowly, releasing tension with each breath. This simple act draws your attention away from the swirling storm of thoughts and anchors you in the here and now. The beauty of mindfulness is that it's accessible anywhere, anytime. Whether you're in traffic, sitting at your desk, or lying awake at night, you can return to your breath. And with each mindful moment, the storm inside you begins to calm. Your thoughts, like waves, may continue to rise and fall, but they no longer have the power to toss you about. You become the observer, steady and grounded, watching the waves pass. Over time, mindfulness transforms how you respond to stress and overthinking. Instead of reacting impulsively or letting worries spiral, you pause, breathe, and center yourself. This practice not only quiets the mind, but also creates space for clarity, helping you make decisions with wisdom rather than fear. Take a moment now to try it. Close your eyes, take a slow breath, and notice how it feels to simply be. As you exhale, let go of one thought that has been weighing on you. Feel the relief as you return to the present moment where peace resides. In the storm of overthinking, let mindfulness be your lighthouse. It won't stop the waves, but it will guide you safely through them, reminding you that the calm you seek is always within reach. 5. Simplicity brings freedom. The Buddha taught, "Happiness is not a goal, it is the path." These words remind us that the complexity we often chase in life, the endless striving, the cluttered mind, the overthinking, only pulls us further from the peace we seek. Simplicity, on the other hand, is liberating. It clears the mental fog, helping us find clarity and joy in the present. To stop overthinking, we must learn to simplify not just our lives, but our thoughts. Picture a tree in a dense forest, its branches heavy with tangled growth. The excess doesn't help it thrive. It blocks sunlight, stifles new growth, and drains its energy. But when the unnecessary branches are pruned, the tree flourishes, focusing its strength on what truly matters. Life is much the same. Our minds become crowded with unnecessary worries, tasks, and distractions, leaving little room for peace. But when we simplify, we create space for what truly brings happiness. Start by identifying what's essential in your life, what truly matters to you, what nurtures your soul and aligns with your purpose. Once you've identified these priorities, let go of the rest. This can be as simple as saying no to commitments that drain you, decluttering your physical space, or limiting the time you spend on social media. Each small act of simplification clears space in your mind, reducing the overwhelm that fuels overthinking. Simplifying your thoughts is just as important. When you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking, pause and ask, is this thought helping me or hindering me? Imagine you're pruning a tree, cutting away thoughts that don't serve you, letting the light of clarity shine through. This mental practice allows you to focus on solutions instead of problems, presence instead of worry. Simplicity doesn't mean giving up ambition or living without goals. It means stripping away the excess that weighs you down, so you can move forward with lightness and intention. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. And in this simplicity, you find freedom, a freedom from the endless loops of overthinking, a freedom to simply be. Take a moment now to reflect. What is one thing you can let go of today, whether it's a task, a worry, or a thought that doesn't serve your peace? Release it and notice the space it creates. Like the pruned tree, you'll find yourself thriving, no longer burdened by the unnecessary. As the Buddha reminds us, the path to happiness isn't found in more, it's found in less. Simplicity is the key to inner peace. 6. Trust in impermanence. The Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. This profound truth holds a key to overcoming overthinking. So often, we spiral into worry because we perceive our challenges as permanent, as if they will define our entire lives. But impermanence reminds us that nothing lasts forever, not our joys, nor our struggles. Understanding this truth allows us to approach life's storms with hope and resilience. Imagine a powerful storm rolling across the sky. The thunder roars, the rain pours, and the winds howl. It feels endless, overwhelming, but inevitably the storm passes. The sun breaks through the clouds, and the world feels renewed. Our struggles are no different. Even the darkest moments eventually give way to light. When you trust in impermanence, you stop fearing the storm and start believing in the sunrise. Overthinking often clings to the idea of permanence. What if this failure defines me? What if this pain never ends? But this is an illusion. When you remind yourself that everything is temporary, you loosen the grip of fear and anxiety. The bad days, the sleepless nights, the overwhelming stress, they are all passing visitors, not permanent residents in your life. When you face a challenge, pause and repeat to yourself, "This too shall pass." Let those words anchor you in hope. They are not just a mantra, but a reminder of life's ever-changing nature. Use this truth as a tool for resilience. If you're overwhelmed at work or caught in a conflict, step back and visualize the situation as a wave rising and falling. No wave lasts forever. It comes, it peaks, and it subsides. Trusting in impermanence doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or challenges. It means facing them with the wisdom that they are not the entirety of your story. Just as the seasons change, so too will your circumstances. This mindset not only calms the mind, but also gives you the strength to endure. Instead of being consumed by overthinking, you can focus on navigating through the moment, knowing brighter days are ahead. Reflect for a moment. What worry or struggle feels overwhelming to you right now? Imagine it as a storm passing through the sky. Feel the weight lifting as you realize it will not last forever. Trust in impermanence, and you'll find yourself letting go of the fear that feeds overthinking. As the Buddha's wisdom reminds us, Life is in constant motion, ever-changing. By embracing this truth, you can free yourself from the chains of overthinking and discover the peace that lies in trusting the flow of impermanence. The storm will pass, and the sun will rise again. As promised at the beginning, here is the bonus lesson: the power of compassion for yourself. The Buddha taught that compassion is not just for others, it begins within. Yet, when our minds are tangled in overthinking, we often forget this essential truth. Instead of kindness, we judge ourselves harshly, feeding the cycle of stress and self-criticism. But what if you could break free? What if, in moments of overwhelm, you chose to treat yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a dear friend? This simple shift holds the power to heal and transform. Imagine a delicate sapling in a garden. If the wind bends it or the sun scorches it, you don't blame the sapling for its fragility. You nurture it, ensuring it gets water, care, and protection so it can grow strong again. Your mind is no different. When you're weighed down by overthinking, it's not weakness. It's a sign you need patience and care. Self-compassion is the water that nourishes your inner resilience. Recognize your struggles without judging yourself. Overthinking often stems from expecting perfection. We replay conversations, overanalyze decisions, and pick apart every flaw, believing it will help us prevent mistakes in the future. However, this constant self-criticism only adds to our pain. Take a moment to pause and remind yourself, I'm human. It's normal to feel overwhelmed. This small act of self-acceptance feels like opening a window in a stuffy room, allowing fresh air and light to come in. Then practice speaking kindly to yourself. If a friend approached you feeling anxious, you wouldn't dismiss their emotions or criticize them for overthinking. You'd offer them words of comfort, empathy, and support. Show yourself that same kindness. When your mind spirals, softly say, "It's okay. You're trying your best." Pause and take a deep breath. These simple affirmations create a feeling of emotional safety, helping to calm your inner struggles. Self-compassion doesn't mean avoiding responsibility or turning away from challenges. It means facing them with kindness and without the weight of self-judgment. This mindset helps you see solutions more clearly because you're no longer battling against yourself. With time, self-compassion becomes second nature, softening the intensity of overthinking and opening the door to inner peace. Take a moment to reflect. What's one kind thing you can tell yourself today? Write it down or say it out loud. Let this thought become your anchor when overthinking takes hold. Just as a sapling grows strong under gentle care, your mind will flourish when nurtured with patience and kindness. The Buddha's teachings remind us that compassion is a powerful force for healing. By directing it inward, you not only loosen the grip of overthinking, but also lay the groundwork for lasting peace and emotional freedom. Be gentle with yourself. It's the first step toward true liberation. In life's journey, our mind can either be our biggest obstacle or our greatest ally. Overthinking, much like a storm, clouds our judgment and pulls us away from the present moment. Yet, within Buddhism's teachings lies timeless wisdom to calm this storm and reconnect with the peace that resides within us all. By grounding ourselves in the present, letting go of attachments, and embracing impermanence, we can transform inner chaos into a haven of stillness. The Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." This profound insight reminds us of the power we hold to shape our reality. Through mindfulness, simplicity, and self-compassion, we can train our minds to release unnecessary burdens and uncover the joy and tranquility hidden beneath the noise. Each moment offers a chance to return to this peace and truly live in the present. Zen philosophy reveals the beauty of simplicity. When you understand that nothing is truly lacking, the entire world feels like it belongs to you. By embracing life's natural flow and trusting its impermanence, we free ourselves from overthinking and discover a deep sense of gratitude for the present. Each breath, each moment, becomes a sacred treasure when we stop chasing and start simply being. Reflect on these ideas and take a moment to pause and breathe deeply. Start your journey today by allowing just one small worry to pass without holding on to it. Transformation begins with a single step toward inner peace. If this video resonated with you, remember to like and share it with others who might benefit from these insights. Share your thoughts or favorite teachings in the comments below, and subscribe to Buddha's Eternal Wisdom for more profound lessons on living a peaceful and meaningful life. Stay mindful, stay present, and may serenity fill every moment of your journey.